Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today in this video I am going to discuss Victorian age in history of English literature. I have covered all the ages before that, and I discussed Romantic age, which was the previous age, and in this video we'll see Victorian age. So let's get started from the very beginning, a brief background of this age. And as you saw, the kingdom in England, King George, after King George the Fourth, after that his brother William the Fourth became king, and after his death his niece Victoria became queen in 1937. So this age was named after her, Queen Victoria, Victorian age. So we'll see that the Victorian age started with the reign of Queen Victoria from 1837. So a brief introduction of this age. This age is also known as Age of Compromise age as well, and William J. Long in his book writes for this age the modern period of progress and unrest. So we'll see the characteristics of this Victorian age include morality, revolt, intellectual development, new education, and industrial revolution. Morality. So this shows that slowly the people losing free meaning of literature, and thus during this time novel as well as prose was popular forms. Yes, there was more focus on novels in this age, and also there was focus on child literature as well. They just wrote about child labor and studies of George Eliot. We found almost that every cause a defined purpose to sweep away error and to reveal the underlying truth of human life. Second characteristic, revolt. During this time, the human revolution theory was proved by Darwin, and so now there was a conflict between reason and divine. So they think that God was not one of the tools to create fear among people. So there was a kind of conflict between religion and science. Intellectual development. On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin shocked to its foundations of scientific thought, and the first photographs were taken in 1830, and the very first electric train was invented by German in 1879. So basically just they are moving towards modernity. And new education was there. Victorians came up with the idea that all children should go to school, and to make sure their schools were all scratched too. And they were first people to ask whether it was right to allow children to work. They introduced laws saying what you could and could not expect children to do. As I told you that there was focus on child literature as well, and industrial revolution takes place. So the childrens were just they are involved in child labor in industries. So writers wrote about it, and Victorians engineers developed bigger, faster, and more powerful machines. Steam engine led to a massive increase in the number of factories. Okay, and so now we'll see the novels of Victorian age. There was a communion of interest and opinions between writers and their readers, and the Victorians were means enthusiastic consumers of literature. They were more inclined towards literature, and they borrow books from libraries and read various periodicals. And the novels was the best way to convey a picture of life lived in a given society and to question it. Novels made their first appearance in installment of pages of periodicals, and the voice of omniscient narrator provided a comment on plot and erected a rigid barrier between right and wrong. And the setting of those novels were town. Obviously there was industrial revolution, and most people live in towns rather than in rural areas, and it was a realistic portrayal and writers concentrate on creation of characters and achieve a deeper analysis of their inner life. Victorian novels include novels of manners, humanitarian novels, social problem novel, nonsense adventure novels, Bildungsroman novel, exotic novels, crime novel. So Victorian literature is often divided into three stages: early Victorians, mid-Victorians, and late Victorians, which is last 20 years of Victorian Age and Edwardian Age. And early Victorian writers, they analyzed the society, paying attention not to offend the moral code of period, and their purpose was didactic. Didactic mean to convey some morals. So they saw in the novel a way to correct the vices and weakness of the age. And main characteristics of novels of this age was that it was published in installments and cheaper and read by lower class as well. And episodic structure means they are obliged to maintain the interest, so the reader went on buying the periodicals. And the development of sensationals means to catch the attention, to create suspense and expectations on the audience. The mid-Victorian include important writers include Bronte's sisters George Eliot and Elizabeth Gaskell, and late Victorian, who are also known as anti-Victorian reactions. So the sense of dissatisfaction and rebellion prevail, and a new sort of realism which rejected any sentimental and romantic attitude. It focused on clash between man and environment, and his dreams and their fulfillment, illusion and reality. The writers were critical and attacked the superficial optimism and self-confidence of age and a more pessimistic views. And the characters or the individuals are increasingly portrayed as alienated, powerless, and the characters' interior world, their dreams, illusion, and despair becomes more important than alienated and mechanical eternal reality. Anti-Victorian reaction, some literary movements include realism. So it was reproduction, realism, truthful portrayal of reality and reproduction of reality without idealizing it, as the romantics did. And another movement was naturalism. So the focus on total objectivity and scientific approach to literature. And aestheticism, and which emphasize on art for art's sake, and which value art more than human life. In previous ages we saw that there was more focus on humanism or individualism, but here the focus was on art. And Oscar Wilde, a famous writer, he was part of this aestheticism. And another movement was decadentism or decadent movement, and they consider art is superior to nature, and the art is finest beauty, that of dying and decaying things. Realistic novels, so Vinci in France, Horace de Balzac, Stendhal, who analyze the human beings in their psychological and moral complexities. Naturalistic novels, it started from positivism in France with its faith in reason and science. And important French novelists include Zola, describe the urban setting in scientific ways. And naturalism, Thomas Hardy, George Eliot, important names. And theories of Darwin's were there, and men conditioned by, he believed that men conditioned by hereditary environment circumstances and deprived of free will, so at the mercy of indifferent fate. And others believed that no longer were responsible for actions because they were conditioned by forces beyond their control, which is divinity, divine, supernatural. And to be realistic, they focus on worst aspects of life, and writers had to be objective as a scientist. So that's all for today. I hope you understand. I'll provide you notes link in the description. Thank you for watching.